This video is about famous Hollywood celebrities and people who passed away from 21st to 25th of January 2024 in the United States. Before we proceed, please subscribe to our channel to support us. Gary Graham, he was born in June 1950 and he died in January 2024. His age was 73 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was cardiac arrest. Gary Graham was an American actor with a long career in science fiction television. He was best known for his starring role as Detective Matthew Sykes in the cult classic television series Alien Nation and its subsequent television movies. He also had prominent recurring role as Vulcan Ambassador Silva on the series Star Trek Enterprise, making him a familiar face to sci-fi fans. Herbert Coward, he was born in August 1938 and he died in January 2024. His age was 85 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from a car accident. Herbert "Cowboy" Coward was an American actor who became a memorable and chilling cinematic villain. In his very first film role, he was best known for his terrifying portrayal of the sadistic, toothless mountain man in the classic 1972 thriller Deliverance. A non-actor who was discovered at an amusement park, his authentic and menacing performance became an iconic part of film history. Melanie, she was born in February 1947 and she died in January 2024. Her age was 76 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. Melanie Safka was a celebrated American singer, songwriter, who was a unique and powerful voice of the 1960s and 70s counterculture. Her performance at the legendary 1969 Woodstock Festival inspired her first major hit, Lay Down Candles in the Rain. She was best known for her quirky and wildly popular 1971 chart topper, Brand New Key, the roller skate song, and was beloved for her distinctive, emotive voice. Margot Smith, she was born in April 1939 and she died in January 2024. Her age was 84 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death were complications of a stroke. Margot Smith, known as a Tennessee yodeler, was an American country music singer who achieved significant success in the 1970s. She was best known for her chart-topping hits, including her yodel-infused version of Don't Break the Heart That Loves You and It Only Hurts for a Little While. A talented vocalist and songwriter, she was a popular and respected female artist of her era. Jessie Jane, she was born in July 1980 and she died in January 2024. Her age was 43 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was accidental overdose. Born Cynthia Ann Howell, Jessie Jane was one of the most popular and recognizable American adult film actresses of the 2000s. As a contract star for the major studio Digital Playground, she starred in numerous high-profile productions, including the blockbuster adult film Parades. She was a multiple-time award winner and Hall of Fame inductee who was a major figure in the industry for over a decade. Charles Osgood, he was born in January 1933 and he died in January 2024. His age was 91 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from dementia. Charles Osgood was a beloved and Emmy-winning American broadcast journalist, famous for his gentle demeanor and trademark bow tie. For 22 years, he was the anchor of the acclaimed news program CBS News Sunday Morning, where his warm and poetic style made him a cherished television institution. He was also the host of the long-running radio program The Osgood File, known for his famous sign-off, "I'll see you on the radio." Margaret Riley, she was born in December 1965 and she died in January 2024. Her age was 58 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was ovarian cancer. Margaret Riley was a respected American film and television producer and a longtime manager at Brillstein Entertainment Partners. She was a dedicated champion of independent film and was known for shepherding unique and challenging projects to the screen. Her producing credits include the acclaimed films Love Lisa, Ratched, and the Oscar-nominated drama Bombshell. Robert Holcomb, he was born in May 1943 and he died in January 2024. His age was 80 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from a long illness. Rod Holcomb was a prolific and Emmy-winning American television director. He was known for his work on numerous acclaimed and popular television series, winning an Emmy for directing an episode of ER. He also directed the pilots for many successful shows, including The A-Team, China Beach, and The Devlin Connection, helping to establish their visual style and tone. Conrad Chase, he was born in June 1965 and he died in January 2024. His age was 58 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Conrad Chase was an American singer, actor, and television personality who became a well-known celebrity in Spain. He was the founder and lead singer of the popular Spanish band Baja de la Palma. He later became a familiar face on Spanish television, appearing on numerous reality shows and talk programs, where he was known for his charismatic and entertaining personality. Dexter King, he was born in January 1961 and he died in January 2024. His age was 62 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was prostate cancer. Dexter Scott King was an American civil rights activist, author, and the younger son of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King. He dedicated his life to preserving his father's legacy, serving as the chairman of the King Center for Nonviolent Social Change. An attorney and author, he also portrayed his father in the 2002 television movie The Rosa Parks Story. Arno Allen Penzias, he was born in April 1933 and he died in January 2024. His age was 90 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from Alzheimer's disease. Dr. Arno Allen Penzias was a German-American physicist and radio astronomer who was awarded the 1978 Nobel Prize in Physics. Along with his colleague Robert Wilson, he discovered the cosmic microwave background radiation while working at Bell Labs in 1964. This accidental discovery provided the strongest evidence for the Big Bang theory of the universe's origin and is considered one of the most important scientific findings of the 20th century. David Kahn, he was born in February 1930 and he died in January 2024. His age was 93 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. David Kahn was a groundbreaking American historian and author who was considered the father of modern cryptology. His monumental 1967 book, The Code Breakers: The Story of Secret Writing, was the first comprehensive history of the subject and became the foundational text in the field. His meticulous research and accessible writing brought the secret world of codes and ciphers to public attention. John Franklin, he was born in January 1942 and he died in January 2024. His age was 82 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from esophageal cancer. John Franklin was a legendary acclaimed American journalist and author who was the first person to win a Pulitzer Prize in the category of feature writing. He won his first Pulitzer in 1979 for a story on brain surgery and his second in 1985 for a series of molecular psychiatry. He was a pioneer of literary journalism, applying novelistic techniques to non-fiction storytelling. Bene Arnold, she was born in September 1935 and she died in January 2024. Her age was 88 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. Bene Arnold was a distinguished American ballerina and a highly respected professor of ballet. She was a principal dancer with the San Francisco Ballet and was a founding member of the influential Joffrey Ballet. For many years, she was a professor in the Department of Ballet at the University of Utah, where she was a beloved mentor to generations of professional dancers. Chuck Phillips, he was born in October 1952 and he died in January 2024. His age was 71 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Chuck Phillips was a Pulitzer Prize-winning American music journalist, best known for his investigative reporting at the Los Angeles Times. He won the 1999 Pulitzer Prize for beat reporting for his work exposing corruption and financial wrongdoing in the music industry. He was also known for his extensive and often controversial reporting on the murders of rappers Tupac Shakur and the Notorious Big. and Scott Momaday. He was born in February 1934 and he died in January 2024. His age was 89 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Nawaz Scott Momaday was a towering and revered figure in American literature who was a pioneer of the Native American Renaissance, a member of the Kiowa tribe. His 1968 novel, House Made of Dawn, won the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction, a landmark achievement that brought Native American literature to the forefront. A recipient of the National Medal of Arts, his work as a novelist, poet, and essayist explored the profound connections between landscape, identity, and oral tradition. Carl Andre, he was born in September 1935 and he died in January 2024. His age was 88 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Carl Andre was a highly influential and often controversial American artist who was a leading figure in the minimalist art movement. He was known for his radical sculptures made from industrial materials like bricks, metal plates, and timber, which he arranged in simple geometric configurations directly on the floor. His work fundamentally challenged traditional notions of sculpture and artistic composition. Ted Blocher, he was born in August 1929 and he died in January 2024. His age was 94 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Ted Blocher was a dedicated and respected American researcher of unidentified flying objects, UFOs. He was one of the founders of the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena and was known for his meticulous and data-driven approach. His 1967 book, Report on the UFO Wave of 1947, is considered a classic and an essential historical document in the field of ufology. Cheryl Palm, she was born in January 1954 and she died in January 2024. Her age was 70 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. Cheryl Palm was an American agricultural scientist who was a professor of agriculture and biological engineering at the University of Florida. Her research considers tropical land use and ecosystem function, including carbon and nutrient dynamics. She was a former chair of the International Nitrogen Initiative and a fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science and American Society of Agronomists. Rene Oliveira, he was born in March 1955 and he died in January 2024. His age was 68 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Rene O. Oliveira was a long-serving and influential Democratic politician from Texas. He served for over 3 decades in the Texas House of Representatives, where he was a powerful legislative leader and chairman of several key committees. He was a major figure in South Texas politics, known for his work on economic development and education. Roger Donlon, he was born in January 1934 and he died in January 2024. His age was 89 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Colonel Roger H.C. Donlon was a United States Army officer who was the first person to receive the Medal of Honor in the Vietnam War. In 1964, while commanding a Special Forces team, he distinguished himself during a fierce battle where he was wounded multiple times while leading the defense of his camp. He was a celebrated hero and a symbol of courage and leadership. Amanda Hanson, she was born in 1985 and she died in January 2024. Her age was 38 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. Amanda Hanson was an American television journalist who was a popular news anchor in the Memphis and Jonesboro, Arkansas media markets. She was a key anchor for K8 News, where she was known for her engaging personality and her professional delivery. She was a beloved member of her community and a respected local journalist. Howard Golden, he was born in November 1925 and he died in January 2024. His age was 98 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Howard Golden was a powerful and long-serving politician in New York City, a Democrat. He served as a Brooklyn borough president for an incredible 24 years, from 1977 to 2001. During his long tenure, he was a dominant force in city politics and a fierce advocate for his home borough. overseeing a period of significant change and development. Frank Buck, he was born in September 1943 and he died in January 2024. His age was 80 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Frank Buck was an American politician and lawyer who served as a Democrat in the Tennessee House of Representatives. He was a respected legislative leader who rose to the position of House Majority Leader. He was known for his dedication to public service and his work on behalf of his constituents. Harry Connick Sr. He was born in March 1926 and he died in January 2024. His age was 97 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Harry Connick Sr. was an influential and long-serving American lawyer who was the district attorney of New Orleans for 30 years. He was a powerful and often controversial figure in the city's legal and political landscape. He was also a talented singer who performed in New Orleans nightclubs and was the father of the world-famous musician and actor Harry Connick Jr. Kenneth Smith. He was born in July 1965 and he died in January 2024. His age was 58 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was execution. Kenneth Eugene Smith was an Alabama man who was executed for his role in a 1988 murder-for-hire plot. His case gained international attention as he became the first person in the United States to be executed using a method of nitrogen hypoxia. The use of this novel execution method sparked significant legal and ethical debate. Charles Fried. He was born in April 1935 and he died in January 2024. His age was 88 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Charles Fried was a distinguished legal scholar who served as a United States Solicitor General under President Ronald Reagan. A longtime professor at Harvard Law School, he was a leading authority on constitutional law and contract law. He was a prominent conservative intellectual who argued numerous cases before the United States Supreme Court, both as Solicitor General and in private practice. Gus Wingfield. He was born in September 1926 and he died in January 2024. His age was 97 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Gus Wingfield was an American politician who was one-term Arkansas State Treasurer from 2003 to 2007 and a two-term Arkansas State Auditor from 1994 to 2003. Wingfield was considered a part of the conservative wing of the United States Democratic Party. Dick Trome. He was born in November 1940 and he died in January 2024. His age was 83 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Richard Dick Trome was a pioneering athlete and a dedicated advocate for people with disabilities. An amputee himself, he became the first amputee to run the New York City Marathon in 1976. He later founded Achilles International, a global non-profit organization that encourages and supports people with disabilities to participate in mainstream running events, empowering thousands of athletes worldwide. Ice Train. He was born in November 1965 and he died in January 2024. His age was 58 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Born Harold Hogue, Ice Train was an American professional wrestler who was a powerful and charismatic figure in World Championship Wrestling during the 1990s. He was known for his incredible physique and his powerhouse wrestling style. He was a popular member of the tag team Fire and Ice alongside Scott Norton and was a memorable character from the Monday Night Wars era. Steve Staggs. He was born in May 1951 and he died in January 2024. His age was 72 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Steve Staggs was a former professional baseball player who was an infielder in Major League Baseball. He was best known as a member of the inaugural 1977 Toronto Blue Jays team, where he served as the club's starting second baseman. He was a solid and dependable player who holds a place in the history of the Blue Jays franchise. Don Lasseter, he was born in March 1933 and he died in January 2024. His age was 90 at the time of his death and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Don Lasseter was an American professional baseball player. The outfielder appeared in 4 Major League Baseball games as a major of the 1957 St. Louis Cardinals, but spent the remainder of his 8-season career in minor league baseball. Gus Hendrickson, he was born in March 1940 and he died in January 2024. His age was 83 at the time of his death and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Gustav Gus Hendrickson was a former American ice hockey player who was a member of the United States national team. He represented his country at the 1964 Winter Olympics. He was a talented and dedicated athlete who had the honor of competing on the world's biggest stage. Kelly Melville, he was born in November 1976 and he died in January 2024. His age was 47 at the time of his death and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Kelly Melville was a former professional football player who was a defensive back in the Canadian Football League CFL. He was a 2-time Grey Cup champion with the Montreal Alouettes and was known for his tough and skilled play in the secondary. He was a respected competitor and a key member of the successful era for the Alouettes franchise. Perry Friedman, he was born in May 1968 and he died in January 2024. His age was 55 at the time of his death and the reason for his death was cancer. Perry Friedman was an American professional poker player who won the 2002 World Series of Poker and was a founding member of the Tilt Boys. Thanks for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Have a nice day.